All right, guys, Jamal Hill is the champion of the world. Lionheart missed weight. Glover Teixeira retired. Jon Jones vacated. Ankalaev and Blachowicz have crossed each other out with a draw. And Prochazka was stripped. What am I missing? Did we cover everything? This has been a very peculiar time for 205 pounds. I mean, a really, really interesting time. And you know what I saw this morning? I saw the same thing that I saw yesterday when I woke up. And 2 days prior to that, and 20 minutes after the championship bout was decided on Saturday, I saw a video from Prochazka. Now, I appreciate that, and Prochazka has grown on me in really tremendous ways. I mean, he hasn't done anything, right, from a fighting standpoint. It's not as though he's beaten anybody. He didn't lose to anybody. He didn't get any heat going with anybody. But there is something about the story. There's something about that samurai spirit that he keeps talking about. And guys can throw out little terms for gimmicks, but when he got tested, he seemed to live it. Then I even saw him doing some sparring, and it was just some of the ways he moves. I mean, it's very interesting angles. It's a lot of power. I'm all of a sudden interested in Prochazka. That is my point. But do you want to know something that has been missing ever since his belt has been missing? Something that has never been included in any of the Prochazka stories. In any of the videos on Instagram, floating around TikTok, over at MMAfrommamomscouch.com, the one thing that has been missing is any kind of a sling, a cast, an ice, a gel, a bandage, a massage, anything at all that you would reasonably assume somebody whose shoulder is so damaged. It was said to be the worst we have ever seen. And they took the belt away. That didn't call for a Band-Aid. You guys know what an ace bandage is? Do they still do those? That's what we did when I was a kid. Instead of going to the doctor, your mother could do it. It was called an ace bandage. You just wrap it and hold something in place. It have little clips on it, something along these lines. I mean, I got to tell you, this is getting weird. And it shouldn't be. I'm not a conspiracy guy, and that division by no means is interesting enough to require some kind of a conspiracy. Like, I don't believe what I'm saying. I'm just acknowledging. I'm just taking a look at it. We get told that Prochazka is the most tested athlete under the USADA banner. So it was 27 times in 30 days. I don't see any relevance there, but we then get told he has a shoulder injury, the worst we've ever seen. We had our heavyweight champion out for 1 year with a knee. We understand that things can take a meaningful amount of time. And we always show grace when somebody's hurt. And if it's real bad and we can't get them back, and there's been plenty of talks back and forth, sometimes we'll even do an interim championship. I mean, I have plenty of examples to show you. There was no grace, and there was no interim championship. They took the belt right off of him. And please don't think you're going to correct me and say he relinquished it. First off, no, he didn't. But secondly, that has nothing to do with the point. The point is, it was so bad, it was the worst that we've ever seen. We cannot wait. There would be no point in waiting because it's so bad. And now he said, I'm going to come back. I'm looking for a summer return. Shoulder wasn't near as bad as they thought it was. And by the way, I want to add for you, at no point along the video timeline that we have right now that's living on Instagram was there ever a treatment. What do you want to do, guys? Well, what do you want to do with that? Has there been a meaningful athlete that has been hurt that has not released an X-ray in X amount of time? I mean, that's a weird thing to do. That would not be a samurai thing to do, but has there been? You remember Oscar De La Hoya trying to get out of having to box Vitor Belfort to the point that he comes in the hospital and he's like in the bed in the gurney making videos. I mean, it just is a very traditional part of the story. It's not as though Prochazka wasn't looking for attention. Sure he was. That's why I saw all these videos that I've just referenced. I just didn't see a sling. I didn't see a bandage. I would settle for a bag of ice. There's a bag of ice sitting right there. My mouth is shut. I didn't see anything. I did see a workout video. I did see a heavy bag where both hands were moving. I saw all of those things. Something's not right. Something's not right. I don't know what that could be. I don't know what miscommunication there was. There are times where a trainer or a doctor or some kind of trusted person will just flat misdiagnose. They'll just flat misdiagnose. But I've never loved the story that he relinquished the belt. I mean, I've always taken an issue with that. And I take the issue because that's not what happened. But moreover, for those of you that are very in love with the idea that he relinquished, he was such a good sport. This is the way this story is being told by these nut huggers. He's such a good sport, he didn't want to hold up the division. He relinquished the belt. All right, fair enough. Fair enough, but think about what that would mean. Is there any champion within the UFC who could relinquish a belt, and the relinquishment of said belt does not equal a retirement? That would remove you from the pool, and we've all heard about all this stuff that you got to do to get back in the pool, and we're living it right now with Conor McGregor. I mean, just by example. How do I relinquish? How do I give back? I had an active contract. This wasn't in between time. This wasn't in the meantime. This was in real time, 11 days before he was scheduled to defend it. He relinquishes it. But that didn't equal a retirement. That just equals, hey, I'll see you soon. See you in summertime. Something's not right. I don't know what it is. I don't even know if it's interesting when we find it. But for a shoulder that was the worst that we've ever seen, that we're going to walk away, we're going to do this match, and we're going to rematch, and we're going to do a comeback match. Not even a Band-Aid. Not even a little bit of Bengay, a little bit of icy hot on there. That's weird.